Your kingdom come, this city is yours. We're waiting on you.
Hi there. In addition to our Sunday services, we're producing these little extra videos that are, if you like, building on where we got to on Sunday in our talk in our online service, just so that wherever we are on our own or as groups throughout the week, studying along with the study guide that's available, do look at the links below. Just an extra reflection. And on Sunday we were thinking about how do we live in a time of flux. Everything's been thrown upside down in these last few months, hasn't it? And we use that little analogy, you remember, of a trapeze, a flying trapeze, where one moment you're swinging on one trapeze and then there's a moment you let go, and in mid-air, in flux, before then being landing or being grabbed safe on the other swing. And that we're in that time of flux where the old is gone, life won't be the same again, and that was safe and certain. But the new is not yet here with all of its potential and all of the opportunity. And we were looking at Caleb and Joshua reflecting on the edge of the promised land. And some were grumbling, longing to go back, but of course they couldn't. And yet the new land wasn't yet here, but Caleb and Joshua were able with faith to say, come on, the opportunities are huge. And I guess I just wanted to build on that with another Bible passage from the New Testament, Acts chapter 16. Again, another time of flux. For Paul, what's happening at this time is the good news of Jesus is spreading all around the place like wildfire. Amazing things happening, people totally being transformed by Jesus. And Paul is on a mission wherever he goes to share the good news about Jesus. And then we read in Acts 16, his plans suddenly get thwarted. Acts 16 verse 6. Paul and his companions travelled throughout the region of Phrygia and Galatia, having been kept by the Holy Spirit from preaching the word in the province of Asia. When they came to the border of Mysia, they tried to enter Bithynia, but the Spirit of Jesus would not allow them to. There they are doing amazing things, but their plans have been totally ripped upside down. We were talking about this as leaders the other day, how sometimes actually our plans being turned upside down mean that God has got us right where he needs us because there's good things ahead. But they're in a time of flux. They don't know what's happening. They don't know how to go forwards. And then we read these words, verse 8. So they passed by Mysia and went down to Troas. During the night, Paul had a vision of a man of Macedonia standing and begging him, come over to Macedonia to help us. And after Paul had seen the vision, we got ready at once to leave for Macedonia, concluding that God had called us to preach the gospel to them. Do you see that? In a time of flux, the old is gone, they're moving around, things have stopped, they don't know what to do, it's uncertain. The no always means another yes. And actually here, there's an opportunity to go to a completely different place. And it's just a reminder, I think, that when we're in that moment of uncertainty, there is always an opportunity to be used by God to point people to Jesus. His heartbeat is for mission, for people to get to know Jesus, because that's where hope is found. And so therefore, in a time of flux, there are always mission opportunities. And hasn't that been the case during lockdown? With so many people asking big questions of life, so many of us exploring the huge questions. And I know that many of you, I've certainly had conversations with friends that I've never had before, simply because life has been thrown into flux a little bit. And so therefore a question for us is, what opportunities are there now that wouldn't have been in kind of normal times? And of course, going forwards, as Paul is about to enter a new place, the potential is massive. And of course, for us as a church, there's some amazing opportunities ahead that we need to respond to and be ready. But also for us as individuals, in our networks, in our communities, in our workplaces, in our families, in our streets, to actually say, Lord, use me in this time of uncertainty to point people to Jesus. What a great opportunity, what potential there is ahead, knowing that God goes with us and there's always, always opportunity in a life of flux.